You want to keep it back.
Morning. Folks over there told me you're Vivian Morris. Would that be true?
Indeed, it is. I'm Vivian. Were you looking to find me?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I've been looking for you for right a good while, and I'm sure glad I did. May I sit down?
Please.
You see, I've been trying to find some of the WPA writers, those who wrote here in Harlem. You remember the writers, the Writers Project? It was back in the 30s.
Oh, I remember that well. Writing for the project was the only way I had to survive. Those were some hard times.
I remember those times too, though I was just a little boy. What I remember most is being hungry, cold, and scared. You see, me and my mama lived out on the streets for a while before we got on relief. But getting relief didn't change things much. I was still pretty hungry, cold, and scared most of the time.
Those times lasted too long and they were too hard, especially on children. I'm sorry your childhood was that way.
I got through it, ma'am. And those hard times just taught me not to want things that I didn't need. I also learned how to work hard and save. And in the end, I guess you can say I did all right for a poor boy from Harlem.
I'm glad to hear that. Do you live around here?
No, ma'am. Mama and me moved south when I was around 9. I still stay down there.
I guess you like to swim against the tide, huh?
No, ma'am. My mama just thought it would be better for me if we moved back with her folks. It was, I guess. I wasn't cold and scared no more, but I still went to bed hungry sometimes. That's the one thing you don't forget, being hungry.
You're telling me all these things about yourself, and I don't even know your name.
I'm sorry, I didn't offer it. I was just so excited to finally find you. My name is Sheldon Franks.
That sounds like a fine name, Sheldon. Now, the reporter instinct is starting to stir in me, so I wanted to jump in and get you to tell me why you're looking for the Writers Project writers. There's not too many of us left, I guess.
No, ma'am, they're not. And some of the ones who are not reachable by the likes of me.
You must mean the most famous writers.
Oh, I didn't mean to imply that you weren't famous or you...
Well, I never got famous like Ralph Ellison or Dorothy West. I just didn't keep up my writing, well, professional writing, that is.
Maybe you should have. You wrote really good stories. I liked your essays, if not as good, if not better than most.
You've read my essays?
I've read them. And others by Ralph Ellison, Frank Bird, and Miss West, of course.
Ah, Miss West, instead of Dorothy West. You think something special about her, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Yes, ma'am, I do. She's the reason I got interested in the Writers Project and why I had to find one of you, ones who's still here. You know she died last year.
Yes, I heard.
I'm sorry I didn't know what she had done before she passed. I would have thanked her, but I didn't get the chance. That's why I set out on this mission to find one of you to thank. Thank you for what you did. Thank you for caring enough to write about us, the poor, ordinary folk. To tell us, to tell how it was for us, what we went through, the good and the bad. You made us count. You made us a part of history.
This is quite stirring, Sheldon. I don't know what to say. No one has ever thanked me for my writing before. Hardly even ever got published. Tell me, how did you find out about the Writers Project? And where did you read the essays? Where are they?
I got kids, smart kids. They all been to college. And my youngest, Shelley, she's still in college, majoring in American Studies. Her main interest of history is the history of Harlem. Those times we lived through. She grew up hearing me and her grandmother talk about Harlem, and she fell in love with it. I don't much understand about falling in love with a time and place that ain't here no more, but she sure done it.
She has a passion for history, and she's picked an exciting place and time to fall in love with. It's not all that strange, this love affair of hers.
Well, anyways, During her studies, and research, she learned about the WPA and the Writers Project. She went to the Library of Congress to do more research, and she came across the essays. She said she couldn't stop reading them, and they made Harlem come to life for her, right there in her brain.
Someone saved all those essays?
Someone saved a bunch of them, and guess what?
Oh, I couldn't guess. I was never good at that.
She found one written about me and my mom. It was written by Dorothy West. Shelley recognized it from from a story my mama used to tell. It was about the time me and my mama was out in the streets begging. This one time, we went into this apartment building and no one would give us the time of day. That is until we knocked on Mrs. West's door. We was tired and so hungry. She took us in, she fed us. It was the best food I'd ever eaten and the finest apartment I had ever been in. My belly had never been so full. She never told us her name, but I knew it was her apartment and it was us she wrote about. Because I remember this toy dog was there. She mentioned it in the story. She also told about a boy who was too hungry and too scared to touch the toy before he had food, but who after he ate, ran and touched it and laughed out loud when the dog toppled over like it was supposed to. That was me. And I did laugh out loud. I remember because at that time, I couldn't remember the last time it was that I had anything to laugh about.
Sheldon, I can see why Dorothy is special to you.
She sure is, man. She cared enough about a little starving boy and his mother to feed us. But more than that, she cared enough to write about us to say how it's not right to take away a child's joy and give him hunger. She said a child's faith is too fine and too precious for the dump heap of poverty. And she thought bread shouldn't be bigger than a boy. And she's right. It shouldn't. She said those things. She said them about me. That's a powerful thing for somebody to do. Just in case you didn't know.
Sheldon,
Yes, ma'am?
I didn't really know or understand that before today. Thank you for teaching.
Now you see why I had to find you, and thank you for what you've done. What you did for so many of us.
All those essays about all those people, you've given them a new meaning, Sheldon.
You think so?
You have for me. And this is a wonderful gift for an old woman, one who didn't think her writings meant much.
Oh, but they did. Shelley thinks your essays are some of the best. She said they're like poems. She reads them and we can hear the rhythm in the words and feel the compassion you must have felt for the people you wrote about. The laundry workers, prostitutes, cleaning women, Thursday girls, and even Mother Horn. You made them all come alive for us.
You're going to make me cry. I'm not used to such praise, and I haven't thought of those people in such a long time.
I wonder if Miss West ever thinks about me.
In light of the things she had to say in her essay, I'm sure she did. I believe she thought about you often and wondered, oh, she would have been so pleased to have seen you again, to find what a fine man you turned out to be from a little boy.
Well, thanks for saying that.
I mean it. I can tell you're a good man. I'm sorry for Dorothy's passing, but if she hadn't, I would have never met you. Probably never thought about those people or those essays again. I would have never been able to take pride in them, but thanks to meeting you, I can do that now. You coming here has stirred me. It's brought faces and voices to mind from those times. Faces and voices and even places I thought I had forgotten, but they're still here in my mind.
Please, tell me what you see.
Harlem. It was 50 blocks long and 8 blocks wide. A piece of northern Manhattan that beckoned the black-skinned sons and daughters of former slaves to come. 200,000 came up from the cotton fields and cornfields and tropical isles, up from land that once chained their ancestors' feet, land that had oppressed and denied them of their rights and humanity. Sick and tired of denial, the hopeful poured into the new promised land. By the 1920s, Harlem teemed with new life, life it had never known before, life inspired by these migrating souls, souls of black men and women leaving behind unbearable burdens, souls now throwing off their mule skins ready to enjoy new freedoms, souls long aching for expression, expression, artistic expression. Self-expression long denied busts through on the streets of Harlem, swishing hips and swaggering gaits, snapping fingers, boisterous laughter, all had rhythm, a natural rhythm that permeated everything. Harlem was alive with new rhythm. The pushcart vendor songs, the rent parties, the tin penny pianos, working girls' high heels, the musicians' horns, the jazz, the blues, and there were those voices, the true and native voices of a spirited and joyous race who now inhabited Harlem. Voices without pretense, voices refusing to imitate, voices raw and earthy, voices full of pain and joy, longing and hope, voices celebrating life, a time and a place, voices celebrating Harlem, the true voices of Harlem. Hear them sing.
I'm in New York, but New York ain't in me. I'm in New York, but New York ain't in me. So come on, baby, and sing your heavy iron blues. Come on, baby, and sing those heavy iron blues. And Mother Horn, she passes plates and makes us sing, so yeah, she does. She passes plates and makes us saints of American poets. But only Whitman was on whip, so tell your poets to write the poetry of the hips. I'm in New York, but New York ain't in me. I'm in New York, but New York ain't in me. I'm in New York, I'm in New York.
I hear him. I think I see him too. Hey, right over there, that's Ralph Ellison. Hey, let's listen up.
Since I've become well known, people often ask me why I live close to other Negroes. Well, I tell them because I have to hear the language. I have to have that sound in my ears. I have to. I choose to live in Harlem because it has an expressiveness about it, which is almost Elizabethan. These things are revealed in speech in the streets. There's a lot of humor, and the language is always feeding into the past. It's throwing up wisdom. It's throwing up patterns. Just listen to this Pullman Porter I met in Eddie's bar one night. I'm up from Florida more than 25 years. I'm in New York, but New York ain't in me. Bright lights, pretty women, Sugar Hill. Room to move around, making money, moving up, getting the car. All's in New York. New York ain't in me. Pimps, numbers, cheating the poor. I seen on Lenox and 7th Avenues, shooting, cutting, backbiting. New York is all them things, but it ain't me. I was ain't no bad fella. Never bothered nobody. I was drinks. I was good whiskey. But I ain't a drunk. I just got money in my pockets. I just got something to say. Young Negroes don't know the Bible. And I likes to drink. Some folks likes to drink to cut the fool, but don't laugh. I likes to drink to think. Don't laugh. I'm in New York. New York ain't in me.
WPA essays. He didn't forget about the folks he met. And I believe Miss West never forgot about me either. And I'll sure never forget about her or you, Miss Morris. Never.